Hi everyone, I wanted to discuss about the effects plastic has on the earth, but also specifically on the marine life. And I wanted to start off with the quote. "The sea, the great unifier, is a man's only hope. Now as never before, the old phrase has a literal meaning. We are all in the same boat." If you think about this quote with an open mind, you'll see that we currently are on a boat. Even though it's a weird kind of looking boat, we're on a boat. Comparing us, the humans on a dry land, to the marine life in wet land, you think about it, water's an unnatural feeling for us. We don't like too much water being in one place. Tsunamis, hurricanes, those such things, they're unnatural for us to see and experience. And sometimes these can lead to deaths. And then it's the same with marine life. We create these human man-made objects and we just release them into the oceans. By doing this, we cause unnatural feelings and emotions to these creatures, and sometimes these can lead to harmful deaths. And one point I wanted to make out was I want to discuss how plastics are harmful to the Earth's water and how it can harm the marine life. And by doing this, it's concerning to throw away plastics into the ocean or any part of water. And also, it can affect the animals or creatures horribly, even ourselves. But some people nowadays, even in our futures, they will be creating a solution some way, somehow to reduce this problem. And first and foremost, one of the objects that we least expected, especially our ancestors thought were harmless but more useful, and we still continue to use it, mainly in the US and some other countries, this object is banned. The plastic bag. A student in Annandale State School, they did research on this and showed that the plastic bag is a harmful object that harms many animals in the marine life, the ecosystems. This damages not only animals such as the sea turtle, but others, and it can also get captured into the coral reefs, and sometimes when there's a person diving or scuba diving in the waters, they can potentially get caught among these bags. Another thing could be from a student in UMT in Malaysia. They did also more research on plastics, but specifically on disposable areas. So if you think about it, where does all this plastic go to? Countries like the United States, who use a ton of it. But if you think about it, where does the United States throw it? Because we won't have that much room in our areas to throw away tons of plastics. So where does it actually go? Well, the plastic would go to areas such as these, or sometimes we just release them into the beaches without thinking about it. But mainly the plastics we recycle or just throw away in the garbage, they end up on these lands, foreign lands mainly, ones we don't care about. But sometimes these areas get overfilled and there's no longer space to have plastic. So where does plastic end up going to? You thought right, the ocean. And that's the same with how we, over the years, grew this area of plastic in our ocean called the Great Garbage Patch. It's about the size of Texas, maybe even bigger. Now with making these 2 points, I wanted to go to this quote. "The sea is the universal sewer." Yes, of course, I mainly say this towards the US, but it's a worldwide thing. If you think about it, the world is our sewer. We think it's not. We say it's going somewhere else, somewhere not harmful, but it truly is harming us and other animals and organisms. And it's like we're treating our world, our home, like if we were a teenager, if we were a teenager's room. We're destroying our earth to make it seem like a teenager's room. And most people don't see it as that. Others see it as just, oh, we're just doing it as this. Now that we see that our earth is seen possibly as even a teenager's room, we're understanding that our earth's beauty is starting to become ruined, that it's starting to not look like how it used to be in the old times, or even in the possible future. So let's look further into what we're doing as humans to our land, our population, our home. So the first thing, when most people think we're polluting our lands, we're polluting our oceans, what are we actually harming? Who are we harming? Because most people don't even take that into consideration. But the one common thing that most people think of, or who they think of, is this. Sea turtles. They mainly think of plastic bags and sea turtles. The reason is because, as you can see in the left-hand photo, this sea turtle, it looks like it's about to eat a jellyfish. But they don't know it's truly not a jellyfish. They think it's food, but it's actually a harmful piece of food. And so they end up digesting it, which can cause them to choke. And then seen on the right-hand side, it's a straw. Let's go with that. It's basically a straw or some type of utensil that gets stuck up into the nostril, and it either causes blockage or causes harmful respiration. And then if you can see in the top right corner, you can see that as the person is taking out the straw from the nostril, it's causing a blood strain. And most people don't like to see this. They don't enjoy seeing animals go through harmful objects like this. And then we can also see this with fish and birds. Even though plastic can be taken out of our oceans, some plastics continue to fall into the ocean, and they don't fully dissolve or break down, and those are called microplastics. If you look into this fish's belly, you can see that pieces of plastic stayed within that fish even after it got captured and died. Then look at the bird too. All this plastic, this photo is probably not the best, but if you look into what this bird actually digested, even after its death, the plastic still looks brand new. And to me, that's kind of creepy. And to others, it might be the same. Our ancestors thought this design, this material, was the best and most useful product they ever made in history. Of course it is. But in the long term, for future generations and our future home, it's not the best suited. And we don't only see this in fish, sea turtles, and birds. One creature that is getting harmed is mollusks. The microplastics that they're digesting or that is around their environment, they're weakening them. The plastic is harmful, and our ancestors never thought of that beforehand. But now we can see it, and it's harming more than just us and these organisms. It's harming our home. And then, if we take into consideration all the points I just discussed about how plastic is being harmful, let's think about how it can be useful. For most people, or most companies, They want to make money, but they don't want to make money in a bad reputation. If they're using plastic, then in our future, it's a bad object to use. So what other companies are trying to do now, they're trying their best and hardest to reuse what we've made. So such as the company SC Johnson, the one product that they're making that is being produced currently and has been for the past about 5 years is the Windex bottle. This bottle is not only being reproduced, made out of plastic of course, but is being reused from old plastic bottles or old plastics. They're trying to recollect plastics even from the oceans to recreate a reusable 100% recyclable bottle for Windex glass cleaning. Yes, they've used it many times, but this is their main product and object. It's been used across the world and is currently being used in the US. They recently got this product entered into the US to be established.